Hey, it's B-Rad Celebrity Hairstylist here, your host of the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast. I want to welcome to our groundbreaking 12-week live podcast series that delves deep into the heart of the hairdressing world, promising to change the way you view you and your salon experience forever. Hosted by the dynamic duo, myself and Mariana, who will bring up shortly, two seasoned hairstylists with passion for innovation and authenticity. This podcast is your guide to unlocking the power of change from the inside out. With candid live discussions, expert insights, and a touch of humor, myself and Mariana create a safe, inspiring space for listeners to embrace change, boost their self-esteem, and unlock their true potential. Are you ready to step into a world where hairdressing is more than just a service, but a path to personal growth and enlightenment? Join myself and Mariana on our new series to be part of the movement that's changing the hair industry from the inside out. Your journey to renewed confidence and self-discovery starts here. So we're doing 12 parts, and on today's episode, it's episode 1, the physical body. So I wrote a little kind of spiel, and Marianne's going to come on, and we're going to connect. So the body, akin to sacred temple, houses of essence are being. The intricacies mirror the grandeur of ancient architecture, each organ and system working harmoniously concert. Breath is the incense, coursing through the corridors of veins and arteries, igniting life's spark. Bones stand strong like pillars, upholding the marvel of existence. Emotions echo like hymns within these walls, and thoughts dance as prayers in its sanctified halls. With mindful care and reverence, we can honor the temple, recognizing that well-being is a gateway to spiritual and physical transcendence. As we are live, you are encouraged for full participation, like, comment, share, ask questions. For the next 12 episodes in this series, our hope is that all on here would become family and embrace what's offered. So let's get started. So in the comments, let us know where you're from. And if you're watching live, obviously you're watching live, or if you're watching the replay. So please share in the live. Make sure to heart it up. Let us know on the social platform that you're enjoying this content. So as we kind of jump into it, what are 3 words that come to mind when you think of the physical body? Just share in the comments. Mine are powerful, resilient, and healthy. And we'll bring our host up here. So what about you, Mariana? What are 3 words that kind of come to you when you think the physical body?
Support and a vessel that enables all of the inner, all the inner movements, I suppose the electrical currents is what I want to call it. All the electrical currents, the feelings, the thoughts, the sensations that we're experiencing. And if we have a healthy physical vessel, we're able to actually experience these electrical currents at their absolute potentiality.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
that's how I feel about that. That's how important the physical body is. The healthier your physical body is, the more ability you have to experience your electrical currents.
I know, I'm getting tingly. I can feel that. I'd say, like I said before, it's just coursing right through. And I know this is so big because in my head, before we're going to go on today, I'm thinking physical body, and so much comes to mind and what we have. So if anybody has any questions, you can write them in the comments. Please feel free to comment and chat in the comments while we're talking, and chat, give us your Q&A. So let's go. So welcome, Mariana. I'm so excited you're doing this 12-part I don't know, it's you, because every time I'm around you, I tingle. I don't know what that means. Maybe we'll find out later when you talk more about the physical the physical
Yeah.
body. So let's start what we're doing, and let's dive deep into the series part one, the physical body. And I'll hand it over to you, Mariana.
Oh, yeah. The physical. Well, to begin with, I just want to just share. I start at the physical body because it starts with the body. It does start with the body. And if we're going to make change, if we're really going to advocate for change and support change, it needs to come from our bodies. It needs to come from our internal bodies and how we are transforming and how we're actually engaging and enabling these changes to come from ourselves. So the physical body is so important. It's not about, the haircut external. It's not about what's outside of us. It's actually what's inside of us that enables these changes. So we're starting here because of that. And before I start, I actually want to share a little piece, a little introduction to the physical body. Just to get you into a sensation of, hey, and this actually is an extract from my Evolve program as well, just to let you know. And it starts off the physical body in the Evolve program. And it goes something like this. Our bodies, the vessel in which we live, is the most intelligent element of our human existence. Navigating through the terrain of unfamiliar language that our body emanates constantly in motion and transformation takes practice and the deep innate patience of a warrior on a quest to truth. This opportunity to become one with what we use to operate, navigate, and express through everyday life can be the most attuned instrument that we have ever encountered.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. And one of the words that kind of came to me also when I was thinking physical body was authenticity.
Mm,
So authenticity to me, to be your true self. And so much comes through the body that people don't realize. Like if you're holding tension, if you have body pain, what's going on in your mind? Are you mad at somebody? Are you holding resentment? Are you everything is in your body? Like are your shoulders like this and you can't relax? You know what
mm,
I mean? Are I think too, because the body is also a physical manifestation of what our inner body is and our inner life is and our inner thought life is. Like this is one time, like I could talk for hours on this, but we really want everybody's participation and any questions that you have. But as a beauty professional, I think this is one of the first things, and I'm glad we started this for part one, is that the body really encompasses so much,
mm,
because the body itself, whatever you think, the body believes it's real and will act accordingly.
mm,
So if it thinks that something is happening, you'll automatically, or you're thinking something about a person, you tense up. You know, normally your body shouldn't, but that's how it's connected. You know, I mean, your mind is connected, your heart connected, your gut is connected, your ego's connected. There's a whole range of things with the body. So obviously, too, I'll just jump with this part, and this is probably something everybody knows, and it's a cliche, but you are what you eat. So if you eat, nutrient rich live foods,
mm,
that's really going to change how your body reacts, how your
mm.
body heals, how your mind thinks. Obviously, putting junk in, you're going to get junk out.
Oh.
So that's my spiel for the body. So I'll let you take over, Mariana, and let's go deeper on this.
Oh, deeper. Love it. Um, love it. It's like if we're going to actually make holistic change, it needs to be holistic change within ourselves. And as you just said before, what we eat is what we are. And it's just so true. And it's also what we do is what we are. Like it is a reflection. How we care for ourselves during the day when we're in the salon, how we're actually if we're taking rests, if we're taking breaks, if we're taking like breathing breaks, actually, is what I
Mhm.
like to call it, when we're actually stepping back and we're not really energetically depleting ourselves completely, and we're able to really be present to what our body needs in every single moment. So the first aspect here that I want to speak about is presence, is
Mm.
the ability to actually action presence. That's the first one. And presence is a really big, it's a really big topic. I mean, it's a simple word with only a few syllables in it, but it's such a big engagement with the self, because it requires you to be still enough to be present to what's going on, to the electrical currents that are moving in your body. And having things like stimulants like caffeine or nicotine or anything like that in your system really takes that away from you. It really takes the ability to be aware and be present to the electrical currents that are moving through your body. So this is where we start. This is where I start, is like exercising presence. And presence comes with, can you observe yourself? And I'm just gonna
Mm.
take it in just even a little bit deeper. It's like, we use mirrors every day as hairdressers. We use mirrors. And what we're doing is we're actually communicating with clients through the mirror to observe their body language, to actually get validation and to get sort of like approval of something their hairdresser suggested from the client. So the mirror actually works as a medium between the client and the hairdresser. But what I actually want to take it, let's just take the hairdresser out of this, I mean the client out of this for a moment,
Mhm.
and let's see, how present are you as a hairdresser outside of doing your hair, guys? Outside of doing hair and checking yourself out to make sure that
Yes.
your outfit's looking great. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the
Mm.
piece of like, how much time you as a hairdresser before you begin your day do you actually exercise presence with yourself in the mirror, where
Mm.
you're observing, you're checking in, you're actually checking in with your eyes, you're checking in with how you're feeling, you're actually checking in and you're being present. And the mirror, I'm going to say, because I work with mirrors right through Evolve, and it's a really big major piece with what I do, because the mirror
Mm.
is the tool to enable you to check in with yourself without needing a therapist, without needing another person to actually look at, and actually checking in with yourself. And one little tip here is to start off the thread of presence. If you 1 minute, 30 seconds, even 30 seconds in the mirror in the morning, and just look at your eyes, just eye gaze with yourself just for 30 seconds even. And in that moment, like as brushing your teeth, even you can just eye gaze, brush your teeth in the mirror. And in that moment, see what comes up. Like, what I actually, they're words of affirmations usually that arise from this deep of, wow, where did that come from? Those moments of
Mhm.
like, wow, what was that? And this is the thread. This is the thread of actually getting into your physical body. This is the actual thread. This is the starting point, is listening and beginning the listening to the body and what it needs, is just actioning the present piece. And we can start it off by doing that, by just looking at yourself in the mirror for 30 minutes. And I want to give really actionable tips here today on this
Mhm.
call, because I want to see hairdressers actually starting to engage with themselves and take this holistic way of moving with their body and actually exercising their body as a serious thing, because it's enough now. I've got so many hairdressers that I speak to that have got really bad backs, have
Mhm.
actually got serious back issues, shoulder issues, neck issues, leg
Yeah.
issues, arm
Mhm.
issues, wrist issues, like serious. And that's because of the absolute abuse that is placed on the body just by serving other people and keeping up the pace with what we do every day. What we do is strenuous. What
Mm.
hairdressers do, well, not what I do anymore, but what hairdressers do still on a commercial scale is extremely strenuous and taxing on the body. It's extremely. And if we don't start really recognizing of how to put things in place that are self-caring for the body throughout the day, as in drinking water, eating a really great meal, sitting down more often than your ego would allow you to.
Exactly. Eating more
Throw that
meals.
in, like the ego is what stops you from actually sitting down and
Mhm.
taking rest, because you want to, let's just talk about just this little piece because it's coming through right now. And this is like, it's really channeled and I've got a whole list of stuff to talk about, but let's go with what's showing up. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
So
just gonna go with the flow and whatever,
I mean, I know
Yes.
the content. I've written it and I've
Yes.
actually created it for 10 years. So it's
Mhm.
so embodied in my threads. It's not funny. And I like to be surprised by the content coming up in an organic way. But
Mhm.
when you're actually when there's this element of authority that happens with us with a hairdresser standing with a client in the chair.
Mm.
There is this is a body language piece, but it also relies on the body. Now, after you've done maybe 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 clients at that day, if you're still pushing yourself by the end of the day to stand up so that you
Mm.
have that posture of authority against the will of your body needing to rest at that point
Mhm.
and soften, what you're doing is you're actually putting your body under a lot of undue stress unnecessarily. And over that stress, and it's in those moments, it's in those weak moments where you don't have the energy, you don't have the capacity anymore because you're tired. You're human. You've
Mhm.
been
Exactly, and
training.
that's where, like you said, you had a Freudian slip where you said toxic when it was taxing, but that's what happens. You
Yeah,
tax your body so much, it does become toxic because you're not resting. So you have that caffeine to get your boost. Now you've had the caffeine, now you're getting withdrawal, now you're getting irritable,
yeah.
now you're getting, and it's just an endless cycle.
Totally. It's just this
Mhm.
endless cycle of this little wheel that we're on, constantly like trying to catch up with ourselves. Now, in your 20s and 30s, even, and even in your 40s, I'm going to say, this is sort of doable. You can actually sustain this level of energy without really noticing um, what long-term side effects this is going to cause. So
Mhm.
what I'm actually going to say is, like, I'm in my 50s now, and I don't know if you are, Brad, but I'm going to put my hand up.
Me,
I'm in
I'm
my
this
50s now.
vibrant, I'm this vibrant,
I'm a
and for
vibrant
you've
human
seen me
being in
after
my
a
50s.
14-hour day, and I'm still got energy.
Yeah. And it's
But
it's not it's like it's this the long-term effects. What I'm trying to get to is, if you're going to actually be toxic with your body
Mhm,
for the first 10, 20 years of your career, and you're not going to self-care, by the time you get halfway point in your career, I'm hitting 40 years now almost. I'm 2 years away from being 40 years in this industry.
mm,
And there is absolutely no way I could do a 12-hour day on my feet. And I wouldn't allow my body to do that anymore. And it's not because I don't have the energy. It's because I care enough about my body not to allow it to do that, because it isn't healthy for me to do that. And I'm not saying that, everybody should give up their business now and throw commercial businesses up in the air and never do this again because it's like, it's not good for you. No, it's about what it's about. What I'm actually sharing is, if those of you that are concerned about, oh my God, what am I going to do if I don't do a 12-hour day and fit 12 clients in a day? How
mhm,
am I going to survive? No, it's about doing less and charging more. And I just to throw that in, doing less, caring for yourself, and charging more. And then that way you're caring for your body, because it
mm.
comes at an expense. $100 haircut, a $200 haircut is not going to pay your osteo bill when you're in your
Exactly.
40s. Guys, let me tell you, they charge a lot more than that per session.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to cover these health expenses that you're actually building up in the background that you'll incur later on in life. And this is coming from experience, guys. This is like coming from firsthand. When I left commercial hairdressing,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I ended up having to do. I had to go through a whole course of TCM. I had a shoulder injury from cutting that took me
Yep.
about 3 years to heal from constant work and chiropractic work and osteo work and TCM and needles and acupuncture and a whole lot of stuff. And now it's gone. But it took a really long time to heal that because of the consistency and the pressure I was putting on that. Now, do I look back at that time and go, was it worth it? Absolutely not. That
Mm.
was that was so it was so painful. It was a really painful experience. So I'm just using a little personal story to explain, like, is it
Yep.
worth it? What's the worth? What is your value and what is your worth when it comes to your body?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, if anybody in the audience is watching, do you personally now deal with any body pain, back pain? Do you find your shoulders are rolling in, you're hunched over, because Mariana has a great concept, which we'll go through over the 12. And this is something you had said before, I believe, in our podcast about, kind of, let's say, serving yourself first. But if our physical bodies aren't present in that moment and we're 100%, how can we give to our clients? Or, yeah, I'll squeeze that last client in at the end of the day. Yes, I'll come in early on the morning. Yes, oh, it's my day off, but I'll come in. Oh, it's my birthday, no problem. Like all that kind of stuff. So,
Mm.
so we have a Facebook user. So repetitive motion in I can't
Injuries.
even talk, injuries.
Repetitive injuries, improper ergonomics reduce the years we have
Behind the chair. Yeah.
behind the chair. Yeah. That's a really big piece. Do you want to talk to
Mhm.
that, Brad?
Um, I can't. Well, I mean, obviously, I believe I know who it is because, but this person too has been doing a lot of work. It has an incredible story of pushing through, and that's the thing, because sometimes things happen with our body, and it's not a fault of our own.
Mhm.
So we always want to have optimal health. We will always want to have um, that time, that space for ourselves. But too, with repetitive um, injuries, because I'm fully trained in hair aesthetics, massage, and holistic. So I
Mhm.
used to get a lot of clients with like rotator cuff and a lot of the fibromyalgia and a lot of those sort of things too. So really, it does. And I think getting into any kind of injury really goes more to the brain. So with
Yes.
with the brain, it's how you take it. If you think my life is over, I'm not going to heal, that sort of thing, I think your body responds the same way, sort of thing. So
Exactly.
it's going to tell you, as I say, like it manifests. So if you think, because you have two choices, right? And everything's about choice. You can have a positive outlook, you can have a negative outlook. And obviously, being super positive is
Mm.
great, but also too, you have to fully be in that moment. You have to fully embrace all that to know
Mm.
that healing, the body itself is one miraculous, well put together, bunch of atoms, that sort of thing, that, as I say, like I believe it's electromagnetic. And two, it does really take years off by suffering any kind of energy um, injury, but you have to kind of, as I say, look at the positive, keep pushing yourself forward. But I think nothing is good or bad. I think everything happens for a reason. I think when you go through that, it makes you so much stronger. Because
Mm.
now, as I say, if it's the person I believe it is, she's an incredible overcomer and an incredible success story, who wasn't able to walk, who wasn't able to drive a car, who
Right.
now can get into a car, you know,
Mm.
and it's incredible, things that happen. Like the body is such a big topic. and we're getting like so many comments rolling in. So hello there from England. So welcome, Richard. I'm glad you're here. And exactly. So mindset is everything. A positive outlook that you believe. And yes, there's paradigms, or there's the things that say, positive affirmations and this and that. You have to just do that little extra step. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's not about just vision boards. It's not just about um, positive mindset. It's not just about I believe it and it'll happen, sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's also the metaphysical. There's also the physical body that also has to internalize and believe it. Because if you have any doubt in there, that's kind of what's gonna come. And so yes, it is. So this is Donna, and hopefully I can shout you out, Donna. But she said I got my driver's license last week, and
Yay.
so Donna, if you can write in the comments how from the time that the accident happened to now, how long has that been that you've been doing your therapy, getting yourself back walking, things like that, and then I'll let Marina kind of take over, so I'm just not doing all the talking.
Um,
I'm more of a listener.
uh, I different. I beg to differ, Brad. I reckon you can talk really well. We both do an equal great job at talking, you and I. It's like that's the reason why I think we decided to do this 12 series, because we've got so much to say.
Yeah. Yeah, and a wealth of knowledge, but we really want everybody here to be engaged as much as possible. It's not for you to sit there, listen to us. It's for like, let's over the next 12 sessions, let's become a family. Let's get to know each other. Let's, say, hey, all this Facebook user. Love this.
Hello,
So, and
user.
that's what it is. So if you're not on StreamYard, if you can kind of put your name after the comment or before the comment, it makes us easier to kind of shout you out. I want to thank you for coming on board and saying you love this. That's awesome. So go ahead, Marianne. Huh?
Um, yeah, I hear that. I hear the positive mindset, but it starts actually with positive mindset for me in the physical body actually starts with creating actionable steps and
Mhm.
slow steps, small steps,
Definitely.
one at a time, because we're actually changing the neuro pathways. And this is where I'm actually bringing it. And my focus is a deeper focus. And it's about we need to rechange the neuro pathways. So the only way to change neuro pathways to start thinking in the way that you suggested in terms of positivity and
Mhm.
actually having a positive mindset to start living in that way, we need to go back and change all the old habits that were there first, and they need to be done slowly and incrementally. So hence why I actually sort of suggested, hey, let's, if you just, even if you use 30 seconds of presence with your mirror, that mindset of giving you those 30 seconds to drop in with yourself to see what's going on. Are
Mhm.
you anxious? Are you scattered in the morning? Are you feeling, like what's going on for you today? Like what's happening? It's not like you're getting out of bed, throwing a coffee down your throat, jumping in the shower, getting dressed, getting to work, and then boom, you're in front of a chair and you're serving a client. No,
Mhm.
what I'm suggesting here is that there has to be an in-between piece where we're actually taking a look at ourselves first. We're actually dropping in with ourselves first. We're having a check-in with ourselves first. We're
Mhm.
seeing what's available with ourselves first so that we can show up authentically what our body needs, what our body needs, what our mind needs, what our spirit needs, where our emotions are at, and where our energy's at. How much energy do we have today? Like, do I
Mhm.
have energy today to actually, run a marathon and do 10 clients? Or do I need to go in today and actually cancel half my book?
Mhm.
Because my energy really doesn't have the capacity to do that. And it's a very courageous statement to make. It's a really, and I know in the industry, because I'm a third generation hairdresser, and there's no way that I could have shown up at work and gone, you know, ethically, from the old
Mhm.
paradigm. I'm
Yeah.
my energy is not right today. I think I'm going to cancel half my book. Like,
Mhm.
I get that. I get what that feels like in the body. It's a really big statement to choose yourself over your book.
Yes, yes, and most wouldn't. They would just do it, and that's why I love that mirror check, and that's goes along with what I said about authenticity. So when you check yourself in the mirror, be authentic to who you are in that moment. Should I be at work? Should I be serving clients, or should I be at home? How can I fully serve in the best way? Because most people, you know, rather than checking your hair and makeup, really give yourself that check, that health check, that
Mm.
mind check, that am I mentally stable to be behind the chair today? Does that anybody have that? Like, do you have, mention in the comments, do you have imposter syndrome? Do you have, you worked days where you thought I should have been at home today? It's okay. It's a safe space. So just kind of share that in there because we kind of like
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah. And there's 12 series. There's another 11 of these to go. And we're going to be looking at this as we're going on. It's going to
Yeah,
get
deep.
deeper. And I'm just to let everybody know here, I'm actually moving through the Evolve program as we're actually doing these podcasts, because there's 12 modules in Evolve. And I'm actually taking a chunk out of each module, and I'm actually sharing the key factors that are really important and why they're important for our transformation, why they're important to actually bring into our awareness. And the
Mhm.
physical body, again, bringing it back to the body, it's like what I want to actually bring up in this moment is, how is your spine? How is your spine? The spine is the nervous system's freeway. From the
Mm,
top of your neck to your coccyx, everything that operates and runs your body actually runs along this spine. Now, I really want to bring importance to this, because this is a really big deal, because it actually is the foundational structure of how we actually progress right up until the energetic body. Because when you become aware of your spine and how that this is actually the neurological freeway that, makes your hands move, makes your legs move, makes everything actually
mhm,
happen. The importance of how we take care of our spine, and this is why I suggested right at the beginning of our talk, if you're tired, do you sit down?
mhm,
Do you sit down and actually do your sessions? I mean, you can do three-quarters of a haircut, from my awareness and my past, sitting down on a stool.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
what's your posture like? Like, are you slunched over? Are you hunched over? Do you have this rounded back? So, and I'm actually going to bring this into it as well. When you do that, what happens is you actually block your capacity to know what's going on inside of your energetic body. What's happening is that
Mhm,
your body, your spine is actually crunched over. It's suppressing everything that's going on, your digestive system, your nervous system, your emotional system, your heart system, your vocal system, your everything
mhm,
system. So, the importance of an erect spine, of being mindful of making sure that you have correct posture when you're sitting, and maintaining the integrity of the spine's health and well-being, comes from how you hold it all day. And it's not an egotistical hold, it's actually a it's actually an awareness hold. It's
mm,
like, I care about myself enough to maintain the integrity of my spine. And even if you need to change your stools from, a basic round stool to a proper stool that's going to help you erect your spine
mhm,
while you're cutting and while you're with clients, these things are really important. It's these little things that we're actually looking at. What's going to support my spine the most during the day while I'm working? Boom, we have that apparatus there. You have those pieces there that support you. Do I need to go for a walk? That's another thing. Like, in between each client, I suggest
mhm,
go out for a 5 or 10 minute walk, get out of the salon, like, factor that into your day. Like, I say 15 minutes, because I think 15 minutes is
mhm,
totally what needed to debrief and de-shake off
mhm.
energetically when we get to the
Oh, yeah,
energetic body.
and
Yeah.
get that fresh air into your lungs, get the,
And let
clear
go.
your head, shake it
Yeah.
off.
And
Yeah.
let go and have a shake, And another thing too is like turn on some music. This is a great thing. If it's pouring down with rain outside, I actually get a lot of my students to do this, and I just get them to turn on a favorite track and have a dance. Have a dance, have a sing song, have a dance, get the energy moving,
Yep.
get the energy revitalized in your body. Like movement is so important. We are standing still for a very long time, and it's not healthy on our feet, on our spines, on our waists, on our necks, on our shoulders, on everything. So actually getting the fluidity and the energy and actually moving that energy through you is revitalizing the physical body. So there's
Well,
another
yeah,
little
and
piece.
yeah, of course, because every time you shift, every time, like if I'm here and I'm slunched over, as soon as I bring my shoulders back, my chest out, I automatically feel different.
Yeah,
I feel more, my back isn't as, and as I say, like we're hunched over client, but that's a lot of how you present yourself too, how you feel about yourself. And for those people that have back pain and things like that, or don't take care of their spines, that's mainly it. And really, that's why we're starting with you, because you have to change from the inside out. And that's why we're doing these 12, you know, 12 series that we are, we're gonna get into, and we're gonna go deeper and deeper and deeper. So make sure you come to every one. But
just
yeah,
starting. This is the beginning.
changing your physical body really makes a big difference. And sometimes if you're feeling a certain way in the salon, change your body position. That
Posture.
really, yeah,
Yeah,
it automatically shifts. Yep.
I actually want to add a piece to that. It's
Mhm.
so true. It's like, it's so true. How you feel about yourself is a reflection of how you present yourself. And I'm not talking about the ego here, guys. I'm not talking about, yeah, I want everybody to know that I'm fabulous. I'm not talking about that statement. I'm talking about, how do I feel today, and being authentic with that. Because you know what? We're human, and we can have shitty days. We can actually show up and go, you know what? I'm not feeling great today. I'm upset, or I'm tired, or I'm whatever it is that you're feeling. And you can be authentic with that. And you know what changes is when you show up and you're being real, you're being authentic with your clients and how you're
Mhm.
feeling in your day. You're giving permission for your clients to also be authentic with you, and watch your day change, and also watch your posture and how you feel with your body change, because it's real. You're not needing to put a facade on. This is the biggest point of burnout, guys. The biggest, one of the biggest researched points of burnout in the hairdressing industry is the putting on and off of personalities, of the pretending, of the inauthenticity, of actually pretending to be something else, changing it on and off all day for your clients so that you can meet them, which actually depletes and exhausts your own systems and your own nervous system. So if you can actually just start exercising authenticity with how you show up, and you knowing how you are feeling in that day, and going, hey, today I'm feeling quiet. Wow. I'd love to hear a hairdresser say
Mhm.
that to a client. I'm feeling really quiet today. I'm having an internal day. See how this lands with you just by me saying this statement. I'm having a quiet day today, and I really
Mhm.
feel like, I'm very internal today, and I was wondering if we can have a quiet session, a silent session today.
Mhm.
Especially if you know this is a regular client and you don't need to actually put, yeah, 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 and you
Yeah.
don't really need to put on, and you can actually be authentic with them. And even if they're a new client, hey, I'm really present to what you need, and us actually working through what it is that you need right now. But just during the session, I'm actually going to refrain and be silent, because I'm actually
Mm.
conserving my energy. Look, this is see how this starts. This
Yep.
starts sort of shifting the holistic way of like putting yourself in the picture of
Mhm.
importance with your client. No more and no less, but equally just as important. There are two humans
Mhm.
in that space.
Exactly. And we're there to serve, but what if you treated yourself like your
Mm,
best VIP client? Do you treat
Exactly.
your own self like you treat your VIP client? I'd like to
Yeah.
know in the comments, but yes or no, that would be amazing to see. So, do you treat
Mm.
yourself the same way that you treat your best VIP client?
Love that question. Brilliant question. Yes. Do you treat yourself like you treat your VIP clients? Because that is exactly what's needed right here, right now. And for us to change this whole mindset
Mhm,
of service means that I need to sell myself for the highest bidder because I need to put dollars in my account at the expense of my health, my well-being, my mind, my nervous system, my everything.
mhm.
This is what is going on in our industry that needs to shift, because and then we'll actually see the shift and the transformation of the consumer mindset of taking hairdressers in our industry more seriously as professionals and not just someone there to actually dump all of their personal
Yes.
stuff onto. That's a sort of, I want to leave that, the dumping on for the energetic body, because that's a really big topic for the energetic body. It's
Huge.
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 It's huge. It's huge. It's
Yeah,
massive.
get the
Oh my
dumpster
God.
ready.
Yeah, get ready for
We're
the
gonna
energetic
dish the
body when we
dirt.
talk about that. Like it's like, what
Yeah.
we actually put up with as hairdressers, what we take on, what we're actually projected with from our clients. It's like, I'm surprised that, well, actually, there is a study that actually shows that hairdressers have got a huge substance abuse problem. And this is a founded research on the industry itself. And it comes from the self-medicating of dealing with the projected hoo-ha that happens every day. And hairdressers haven't been guided on how to
Mhm.
deal with that kind of information when
Yes.
a hairdresser projects. And then there's transference that goes on, and we're getting into therapy here. And these are therapeutic terms that I use, but
Mhm.
it's like, how do you deal with transference? How do you deal that with, by the end of the day, and I'm going back into the physical body here, by the end of the day, imagine this, right? I'm going to say it. Client one, oh, my husband left me. Client two, oh, my daughter's going through a really hard time. Client three, oh, I've just been quit. I've had to quit my job. Client four, oh my God, I've got to move. I've just been kicked out of my home. Client five, this is serious stuff that goes
Mhm.
on every day. Oh, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Right. You've had five. There's just five.
Mhm.
I'm
And that's
sure
your
there's
morning.
good morning, guys. Just your morning. Now,
Yeah.
by lunchtime, your
Mhm.
shoulders, your shoulders are going to be hunched over. You know why? Because you haven't cleared client one, client two, client three, client four, client five. And I want you to be aware of this. Like, every single projected problem that comes onto you affects your physical body. It actually, the weight literally will change your posture. It will
Mhm.
change your posture. Hence why I'm saying, after every client, go for a walk, have a little dance, shake it off. And we'll get into the energetics of that. I think probably podcast 4, when we talk about
Mhm.
the energy body. But
Yeah.
yeah, just for now, with the physical body, just shake it off, move it out, go for a walk, let it go, and breathe it
Mhm.
out. Breath. Another little tip: breath, guys.
Mhm.
You can go without food for a week, you can go without water for 3 or 4 days, but you can't go without breath for 3 or 4 minutes. You will die.
Mhm.
You will die. So, what happens to your breath when you're actually working with clients? And this is another really big thing that we go through and evolve, is breathing exercises, and different breathing exercises for different times, different experiences that we're having to
Mhm.
shift that energy and actually be in touch with. Are you breathing shallowly? That
Mhm.
means you're actually not digesting anything and you're feeling very anxious and very nervous. So, just as an example, just making sure that you're tuning in with your breath, and actually with your breathing, what you'll notice, the deeper you breathe, the straighter your back will get. So just as a marker here, as a somatic, engagement with
Hmm.
you guys here on this call, is like check in with your breath, and as you breathe deeper, just witness and observe. Does your spine get taller? Does
Hmm.
your nervous system relax? Do you actually start feeling your mind clearing and actually getting less aggravated? Because this is a lot of energy that you take on from someone's story. Yeah, because
Exactly. And Donna's is saying here, empaths gravitate to our industry and absorb all the negative energy. So
yep,
this is a great way to kind of get rid of all that, because you can either absorb it or you can, you know, uh,
totally. Again, like,
energetically get rid of it, you know.
and
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 to
and then again, sorry, Brad, but again, like in the energetic body, we'll get into certain energetics and how to even observe
Mhm.
what energy you're working with at the time.
Yeah.
But right now with a physical body, it is about empaths and how we can be an empath and still do this work without it affecting us.
Mhm.
This is what I'm working with people. It's like, how can you still be an empath and use that as a power, as a superpower, is what I call it. Use your empathetic nature as a superpower without it affecting you, without it
Mhm.
affecting you. This is an amazing quality to have as a human being. And I
Yes.
agree with you. Like, people that are empathetic are nurses, they're hairdressers, we're service providers, we work with
Mhm.
people. But it doesn't mean, again, this is the second or third time we've said this statement, at the expense of your well-being.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah, and is it worth it? You know what I mean? And as I say, as far as being an empath, for those that are on my YouTube channel, I did a whole series with Angie Atkinson, and we did a whole series on all types of empaths. One of the most popular episodes we did was the top 10 emotional vampires, because
Yeah,
those are the ones that really drain you. And because we're dealing with people all the time, but really we have to take care of our body. That's not a shameless plug. Great information like we're getting
yeah.
tonight with Mariana. But yeah, so let's keep rolling. I'm still tingling. I said before we started I was tingling, but this is what we want. Like, the whole purpose of this too is really changing hairdressers from the inside out. And this is
Yeah,
what we're doing. And self-care isn't take a bubble bath, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That's all great. And it does help. But we really want to not put band-aids on things. We want to go really deep. And, as I say, Mariana is an expert. She has all the certificates. And the answers as well. So we love that people are getting engaged, people are asking questions, people are responding. That's what we kind of really want. So let's dive now a little deeper, Mariana.
I'm going to take us into, like, I want to talk about habits. Another really great way that I've actually pointed out here is recognizing your habits, starting, from the points that there's 3 points that I'm going to bring up that are going to get everybody that really is taking this call seriously and going, yeah, wow, this is awakening me. Really, 3 simple things that will start off preparing you for the physical body. And that is the first one, which is presence in the morning with the mirror. The second one is recognizing your habits. What habits do you actually engage with to keep your energy up, to keep you moving? Are you a caffeine addict? Are you a nicotine addict? Do you use substance? What is it that you use that's a habit that you notice that you can't actually do your day without, that doesn't sustain you without? And there could be positive habits as well. Like, do you need to get up and go for a run in the morning? Do you need to actually go to the gym in the morning? Do you need to cycle to work? Do you need to have certain low GI foods at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning that actually sustain you to take you over so that you don't actually drop? Like, is that a habit? So there's 2 sides of the scale. What are your habits that you're actually focusing on? So start paying attention. And another thing to keep an awareness, I suppose, of what these habits are, keep a journal. High,
Mm,
high, 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 high
amazing.
on
Yes.
my priority list, guys, here
Mhm.
is journal. Really journal. The journal is something you can thrash with your thoughts, with your feelings, with what's going on for the day, people that you've interacted with that have pissed you off, all of it, like all of it,
Yeah.
like all of it. Just
Mhm.
use your journal as an exercise to I suppose to express and release anything that you're feeling inside. And if you're using this journal
Mhm.
and you start bringing in a journal practice, which I highly recommend, start paying attention to the habits that you actually have as well in that. Like, oh, yeah, I noticed, like, even if you do it for a week, just do it for a
Mhm.
week. Just go in the morning. What do I just go to in the morning? And then when the morning's done, just write it down and just go, oh, wow, I do drink 2 or 3 coffees in the morning. Or I
Mhm.
do have 2 or 3 Red Bulls in the morning. Still
Yep.
caffeine, or I actually need a really nice cup of chamomile tea because I need my nervous system actually chilled and calm. And I have maybe a low GI like a porridge or
Mhm.
something in the morning, or I have fruit or a banana or whatever it is that you do. What are your habits in the
Mhm.
morning? Do you turn to yoga or do you turn to your caffeine? Do you turn to running or do you turn to a cigarette and a Red Bull? Like, what are they? And this is another little thread for us to actually pay attention to as to helping us change those neuropathways slowly. And changing neuropathways actually comes from awareness, guys. And this is
Mm.
why I'm actually saying this. Becoming aware of how we sit, how we stand, how we feel, what we do, and how we're doing it. And it all starts
Mhm.
with those little pointers.
Exactly. And I love the journaling idea. I love the idea of having a diary or a journal. I say journaling, where you can write your thoughts down. You can write your habits down. Like, this is kind of my day. I had this, I had here. Oh, this, I had this moment happen. This person really stressed me out. So you can kind of look back and be real and be raw and
Mm,
ready to kind of, just because you're the only one that's ever going to see it. But you're going to see a lot of things when you read it back that you didn't know, and now you can see how stuff reflected. That person annoyed me. I went, oh, next thing, oh, I had a chocolate bar. So you're taking some sugar to get you up to get release some of those endorphins and dopamine and all that kind of stuff. It really shows you who you are. And I think that's the thing, when you're, again, looking in the mirror, who are you?
yes.
Do
Who
most
I
of us know? We look in the mirror to talk to the client.
Yeah.
But do we look in the mirror to really say, am I being authentic in this
Who
moment?
am I today? Who am I today? How am I feeling today? Who's showing up today? Who's showing up today? Who's here today? Is it my sad self? Is it my happy self? Is it my worried self? Who's showing up today? Because it's about who is it's about who is actually present, and it's got a lot to do with your feelings and your emotions on the day a lot of the time. And that's beautiful, and we'll look at that in the emotional body when we actually do
Mhm.
podcast 3, talk 3, live
Yes.
3. We'll talk about the emotional body and how we show up to our emotions. But just for today, like, these are governing aspects of how the physical body responds to our day. Is how we're showing up, who we are,
Mhm.
paying attention, watching our habits. And also, at the end of the day, I was going to end with it, is what I wanted to end with it is,
Mhm.
how do you end your day? How do you end your day? Like, what do you do? Do you go home and open a bottle of wine and and sit down and drink a wine, and there's your night? It's like, oh my God, recovery
Mhm.
period. I'm gonna have a bottle of wine to actually recover from my day. Or, do you take yourself for a walk, or do you go to yoga, or do you cycle home to relieve all the stress, in your
Mhm.
body? What do you do to wind down for your physical body to relieve it?
Mhm. And that's a great question. And these are things that we don't think of. And I know there are some people on here in salons or work with schools But what we're talking about with this series is what they don't teach you in school.
Yeah.
Schools are great. The educators there are phenomenal, and they do a wonderful um, service for our industry. But we kind of want to take this in another direction that just goes deeper. So
Mm.
let's go into the, as I say, like from the inside out, from the person coming in to the person going out. Are they the same person? And you said, who's showing up today? Which personality? Do you have multiple personalities? Are you the same equilibrium right across the board? Whether
Yeah.
you're happy, sad, this, that, you're the same authentic person. And that's
Yeah.
kind of, I think, what we're kind of digging at. And as you say, I think you said we're kind of wrapping now, Mariana?
No, no,
Or
I'm not rapping. I wanted to bring in, I had 3 points that I've actually noted down that I
yeah.
wanted to start with and actually finalize with, but not necessarily wrapping up. But it's
Oh
just
no, we,
like,
we we don't have to. Yeah. And so if the audience wants us to
okay,
keep going, we'll keep going because
happy to be
Marianne and I, we can talk like a long time. And I don't know if a series of 12 is going to be long enough.
here. Send me a whole
We'll have
cruise
that
ship.
the second series and the live. Well, you can see us live. Maybe we'll bring that up later, sort of thing, and maybe some things will happen, and you can see us
Totally,
live and hang out and do all
totally
that kind of stuff. But if anybody has any questions for myself or Mariana, make sure you kind
throw
of put
it
them in the
out.
comments. We love everybody who's here. Thank you for making part one so like I'm saying, are you excited about this series? I'm excited about this series. Just chatting and learning and growing. And to me, this is how I leave my legacy. My legacy is by leaving knowledge with others that will carry on. And that's how I leave my legacy. So this for me, if people are getting benefit out of it, as I say, when um, we'll go back. Um, Oh no, it happened in my feed. Yeah, thanks for Marianne and Brad, the sort of thing. And so this is again, when I was working, I was able to teach
Ergonomics.
ergonomics and
Yeah,
attitude checks. So I miss being present with the students. And I think that's the thing as an educator. You
yeah,
have to really focus on being present yourself, being
yeah.
present with the students, being present with the clients that are coming in, but also teach that to your students as well, that they're not just there doing a service. They're not just there doing a haircut. They're not just there pulling highlights out of a cap. They're not, teach them to be with that client and have an experience with, I think probably during the in one of the 12 we'll talk about rituals and we'll talk about an
Oh, yeah.
experience that you have with your client, because it is an experience. And I think that's what it is. But you kind of have to make that experience within yourself first so you can fill up and then overflow, and then
Yeah.
that client will kind of tap into your energy. So yes, Brad, yeah, getting great benefit. Looking forward to the rest of the series.
Awesome.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you, Donna. You're like our number one trooper. Thank you for it's obviously I'm going to have you on the podcast. You know that we already talked about that before, but because your story is incredible. But being an educator, being in the front line, you're one of those people that I think where the change needs to happen is in our
Mm.
schools, right?
Feel like
Also,
I feel like if we show up as educators and being one myself, and it's like, I feel like if we show up as an example, more than anything, and we're really standing in what we believe in the work that we're teaching, it will actually be energetically picked up by the students as well. So we have to lead by example. And this is
mhm,
what I believe in with my work, is like leading by, I'm living this life. I'm not just teaching this
mhm,
life. I'm
yep,
living this life. So therefore there's no separation between my real self and me having this
mhm,
conversation with you today, because
yes.
it's going on in and out. So there's no separation between the two. And this is a really big part of what we're talking about here, is that when we actually resolve the separation between the hairdresser self and the real self, and
Mhm,
those lines become dissolved, and we become more and more infinitely connected to the truth of who we are, all of this stuff will just vanish. All the
mhm,
burnout, all of the ailments, all of that stuff will just vanish. The self-medication, all of that stuff. Seriously, it will, because you're not needing to actually push yourself, your physical body, beyond its capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond its capacity. And this is where I'm coming to with us having this conversation with today, is why are you pushing yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly. And are you the number one rock star, hairstylist in your salon? And this is the image you have in your, as I say, but if you're your authentic self, that's more so than putting on your hairdresser face.
yeah,
Like, everything's perfect, everything's wonderful. Oh, hey, love, you look fabulous, blah, blah, blah. Languaging that isn't you. Because
yeah.
when you go home, you don't talk like that. You
No,
don't wear an open shirt. You don't wear gold chains. You don't, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Or,
talk when you go home.
hey,
From memory of working in commercial
yes,
hairdressing, I used to get home and go, shh, I don't want to
yep,
hear anybody talking to me. Please don't ask me a question. I remember
yeah,
being like that with my family.
yeah.
You know, that's what really goes on.
Yeah, exactly. And you made a comment. I don't know if you want to bring it up, but you were behind a chair. The client was having a meltdown and
Oh
you
my
were
God.
frustrated. So, what were you thinking in that moment? You-
Well,
you-
I wanted her to stop in that moment, like, and I didn't know how to stop her, and she was just having a nervous breakdown. Later, when I became a therapist, I actually realized that this woman was going through transition and she was having a nervous breakdown. And I took it on. I took it all on, that it was something I did with her hair. It was something that I wasn't doing right. It was all,
Mhm,
and I'd been in the industry for 20 years at this point, and I'm
mhm,
like, and then when I look back at it, I'm like, there was not, it had nothing to do with my hair and what I'd done. This
mhm,
person was actually having a nervous breakdown. So how I dealt with it is I sold my business.
mhm,
Honestly, I actually sold my commercial business because I realized in that moment that nothing I had, no hairdressing skills, no matter how amazing I was as a hairdresser, the skills that I had were not enough to have helped that person in that
mhm,
moment. And that's why I sold my business, because I went, there is more to what I'm doing than what I have been doing. And I don't know what those answers are yet. And
mhm,
I'm going to go find out. So I became a therapist. I studied to become a therapist for 7 years, and I actually qualified in all different modalities of therapy, mostly very somatic and human
mhm.
experience modalities. So, like psychotherapy, transpersonal work,
Yeah.
and art therapy, and all of those things that actually engage with the creativity, because I needed it for
Mhm.
me. I'm a
Yeah.
therapist, but I need creative therapy because I am a very creative person, and I find that a lot of hairdressers are as well. So my work and the way that I actually approach my work is very somatic and it's very creative. So it's
Mhm.
engaging, and it's really
Yeah.
important, because if we're engaged with what we're doing as hairdressers, we actually make change happen, and
Mm.
we're engaged, we're excited, we're enthused,
Yes.
and we're
Mhm.
learning, but we're engaged in a somatic way. So
Yes.
it's not like going, like, oh, when I did, I had to study books and books and texts and
Mhm.
oh my
Yeah.
God, all the
Yeah.
rest of it. And that was really daunting, but luckily
Mhm.
it met my intellectual mind. But
Mhm.
writing Evolve, I actually found that that if I was going to actually share this information with hairdressers, it needed to be engaging and creative,
Mhm.
because as a hairdresser going into the whole study world, it was daunting. It's daunting, and I
Mhm.
know hairdressers are scared, of like, oh my
Oh,
God, I've got
yeah.
school, oh my God, I have to go back to school and I got to study something. It's like, no, look at it as, oh, this is going to be fun. It's
Mhm.
going to be fun. You're going to learn about yourself. You're going to actually transform who you are. You're going
Yes.
to
Yes.
learn about who you're working with and the human experience, and what you can do. Like, once you open up Pandora's box with that,
Mhm.
red pill, guys, you aren't going back. You are
Exactly.
going straight
Exactly.
forward into going, oh my God, there is so much I can do with people.
Mhm. And
Exciting.
and 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 exactly, and most new stylists, 5 years or less, still don't know who they are. They don't know what type of hairstylist they want to be, or they've been at 20 years and they've been just doing the same thing
Yeah.
because nobody ever asked them, who do you want to be when you grow up? They just
Yeah.
kind of went in, stood behind the chair, same as last time. See you again in 5, 4, 6 weeks, whatever, boom. And that's their life. And no
Copycat.
wonder they're getting burnt out. No wonder they're getting stressed. No wonder they're getting, because they're not having, I think the whole thing is being fulfilled
Mm,
because, like you said, make yourself, and this is say, treat yourself like your best VIP client. And if you're not doing that, and you're not doing those mirror checks, and you're not doing those writing everything down in a journal, and
mm.
you're not, as I say, doing the 3 steps that Mariana outlined, this is going to change you. So each week, probably she may or may not, or will have tips for you to kind of go work on for the week.
Yep.
And, just kind of like once you start doing that, you'll be amazed how much life starts to transform for you and how much it's going to kind of change and that sort of thing.
Yes, great, Donna. Yeah, it's a really, I have to agree with you, Donna, on this, because I can I answer this to this
Yes,
because
you can. It's for you.
yeah, I know, it's so true. Like, what I want to bring to your attention, guys that are listening to this, is like what we do as hairdressers is profound. There is
Mhm.
no other industry in the world that has the freedom and the potential to transform a person that's sitting in their chair. Just stop. Just everything stop now. Like, stop. There is nothing else in the world that
Mhm.
actually meets people in this way, that meets people, that actually helps them identify and transform their authenticity to be met by the world. We do that. We do that. Fashion helps, fashion helps once we know who we are, fashion helps us identify the persona in
Mhm.
terms of stepping into our clothing. But if fashion can work in the negative, where we're just wearing what we're told and
Mhm.
we're just being led
Yes,
instead of
uniform.
leading and creating, which is a very different two sides of it. So taking what we do, and I'm answering your quote here, Donna, taking what we do and actually, which is what I've done with therapy, and bringing it back into the industry, because I was a PT as well, and I was a therapist outside. I left hairdressing and I became a PT, and then I actually became a therapist. And I was in these vocations for more than 7 years. And I
Mm.
studied them and explored them as their individual vocation. And you know what I recognized in hairdressing? I did all of that, all of it. I could help people with their personal fitness. I could help people with their issues and problems because I was
Mhm.
a professionally trained
Yes.
person to hold it. But I had a raw clientele
Mhm.
that was coming to me with a vast array of issues and stories and problems, and only hairdressing does that. And this is the
Exactly.
reason why I've taken everything I've
Mhm.
learned and brought it back into hairdressing. And this is also like saying, yes, high five, Donna, and bringing it
Mhm.
back into what we're doing, because
Yes.
what we do is profound.
Yes, and that's the
Profound.
thing, and I almost was losing it when I was hearing you talk because it's how powerful we are. When you think of what we can do and how much power we have for
Yep.
change and transformation,
Yep.
why do these hairstylists not know this? Why
Yes.
are they making everything charge what you're worth and money, 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 get more clients, do this? Why don't you see the power of transformation that you have for people? And there's something else that you had said, not on this but another time. We're creating these images for these clients and they're walking out into the world.
Yep.
So we have to be very conscious of,
Mm.
are you half there, are you all there? Because sometimes you're sending clients out and that's your work going out there, and that person has to wear that certain haircut, color, like that sort of thing.
I
You know
remember
what
that.
I mean?
I
So
remember
as I
that.
say,
It's
but say, and this is like, I love that energy. The thing about this energy, and most times this is what I'm like after a 14-hour day.
yeah,
So the thing is, if you're real and you're authentic with yourself,
yeah,
you don't get burnt out.
no,
You don't get tired, because that's the thing. I'm burnt out. I'm
yeah,
tired. I'm
yeah,
exhausted. I can't do another day. I think I'm going to quit tomorrow. I'm just not coming in.
yeah. It's the push. It's the push that burns you out, and
Mhm,
it's totally what happens to the burnout. That's a whole burnout um, story. I want to
mhm,
come back to what you said about the personality. And that piece you're talking about is actually a piece I wrote called The Personality Behind the Haircut. And what I realize that a lot of people, like a lot of hairdressers do, is they're so caught up with their mind about, oh, this person's got this amazing face for this look, and I'm just going to slap it on
mhm,
them. And I'm going to give them that look, and not actually considering the effects that that look is going to have in that person's life.
mhm.
Because they've got to go out and wear that. They've got to go
Yep.
out and be that person. Now, do you have any awareness whether that person can wear what you've given them? Do you have any awareness that the personality that you've just slapped on that client is capable of carrying it? Like
Mhm.
energetically, completely carrying it. And how is it going to affect that person? Now, these are like, this is, you're saying, let's go deep, let's go deep. This is like really deep stuff.
Mhm. And these are
We're looking
that's
at the
something that
psychology here.
people don't even think about. They
Yeah,
It's what do you want, and it's mindless, and it's like, yes, you may do a great bob or a great whatever it is, but really, are you doing the best benefit for this individual?
yeah,
Are you trusting your ESP? Are you trusting your gut? Is your gut saying, no, this may not be right for this person? Do you tell them when they show you a magazine and say, I want to look like this? I don't want to do any work. I don't want to use any products. And but the hair color is pumpkin orange. But then in the magazine, they have the makeup done, they have the lighting, they have everything that looks great, but it may not look great for that person. As I say, it has to be the right package for the client. And that's part of your job as a professional. And if you're not using everything in your arsenal tool belt, I'm getting passionate about this, because if people aren't using everything
yeah,
that they have, that
yeah,
they've learned, that Donna teaches, that I think it's such a waste for a lot of stylists. They forget why they got in to the industry. They forget their passion. They forget how they wanted to change people. They forget, it's because they're tired. They're bored. They don't want to take any more classes because they know everything from school. They don't like where they're working. Don't like where you're working? Talk to your manager or get the heck out of there and go somewhere where you're appreciated, not tolerated. So it's like, stop the excuse bag.
we need
Now's
to
the time to
remember.
be real, to be
Yeah,
authentic. Like, if you want to go deep, I go deep. And probably a lot of people haven't seen this side of me unless you've seen some other series I've done, because I'm so passionate about this after like almost 3.5 decades that
yeah,
I've been doing this. I started a salon at 14.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I started out as a makeup artist and then went into hair and doing stage runway, all that kind of stuff, being an educator, being a platform artist. So I've done every kind of gamut of this industry, and I still love it, and I still have energy. I'm still now talking, we've already talked for over an hour already, and I'm learning so much. You learn by listening to others,
yeah,
and you learn by listening to yourself, by what you're saying, because what you're saying is what you believe, and that's what's coming out of you,
yeah.
right?
Oh, totally. It's like we need to remember that the head is attached to a person, and
Mhm,
that person has a personality, and that person has their own authenticity and way of looking at things. Our job as a professional is to understand the uniqueness of that person. They are the skills that we have not been given. How do you understand the uniqueness of a person?
Hmm.
How do you get to the core of a person so that you, as a professional, can integrate what is going on for the person and what that person needs? This
Yeah,
is the missing piece that I am talking about, that Evolve feels, is understanding how to get to the core of a person so that as a professional you can meet those two parts of them. This is like fundamental
exactly.
101 importance of human
Hmm.
experience, human understanding, the psychology of hairdressing. This is the psychology of what we do. This is a very important part of understanding what it is that we're doing, not just the hair that we're doing, but how it is that we're doing it.
Exactly. And one thing that you said the word remember. So what I do, I break that up. So re-member. So which
Yep,
means that member that's lost, you need to reattach that. You need to
yep,
remember that because
lovely.
we're still all part of one body. So we can't do it alone. We
Yep,
were never meant to do everything alone. We are
mm,
meant to have connection. And we have connection with ourselves. We have connection, you know, with our clients. We have connection with our coworkers. We have connection and body. I say connection with source, but I think that's still part of the body because the source lives within you. So, and that's what's going to exude out. So whatever's inside there, and if you've got garbage, when we're going to talk about that, or you're listening to garbage, but we can also have garbage. So once we kind of clear all that out, and that's part of your transformation too.
oh, totally. And it's like, it, it's just so important how we hold our vessel, like, coming back again, right,
Mhm.
like right from the beginning of this talk and where we started from. It's so important how we hold our vessel together. It's so
Mhm.
important how we see ourselves and how we actually come into the world, into our day, because if we see ourselves and we're able to see others for who they are, if we're
Mhm.
authentic, then we're able to see the authenticity of others. And we need to remember, there are people sitting in our chair, people. That's a
Mhm.
person sitting in your chair. And a picture is not enough.
Nope.
A picture is not enough. And like with the Evolve program, you actually learn how to stop being the advisor and becoming the guide with what we do. So you
Mhm.
allow the client to lead the sessions, not
Yes.
the other way around, because they know if you have the tools on helping them unpack who they are,
Mhm.
then they will lead you straight to their authenticity. And then all you're doing as a professional is helping them mirror that,
Mhm.
magnify that, transform that for them so that they are walking in the world as their most authentic self. This is what we're doing. It's exciting for me because this is what I've been doing for 20 years.
Mhm.
Every single person that leaves a session with me walks out transformed, like transformed as their authentic self, not transformed as an idea of themselves, transformed
Yeah.
as themselves.
Exactly.
Telling you now, it's beyond the fashion and it's beyond the look. And people have actually dropped all of that idea. And sometimes
Mhm.
it's crazy, great color and all the rest of it
Yep.
because it's who they are at the time. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with anything, but it has everything to do with the authenticity of the person that you're walking
Mhm.
with. And it has nothing to do with, oh my God, I can't let the client walk out with that haircut because it's going to look terrible as a business card for me. Like, you know what? It's like, you know what? Let's sweep that away because it has nothing to do
Mhm.
with you. That is your ego wanting it to do that. It's
Exactly. And now with social media and because beauty, and we're in the beauty business, but the norms, there's so many filters, so many this, and so many people are used to their inauthentic self because who they're presenting online is necessarily, they're filtered, they're this, they're that, they're whatever, they look like they have the most wonderful happy life,
yep,
nothing ever bad happens to them, they have
yep,
tons of clients, they have
yep.
10,000 followers but only 3 likes, but you know what I mean? But it's that and that's really with Evolve, it's about being authentic. And when's the last time you looked in the mirror and were totally authentic? You know what I mean? People are going to say what they're going to say about you, the body, because I want to keep it to the one lesson because we've got so much more
Yes.
going on.
Oh my
And if you are
God.
loving this, make sure that you would do us a favor. Please, please, I'm
Yeah.
begging. No, I'm not begging. But but if you love this and you think this program would be of value for other people, make sure that make sure that you share it, make sure that you tell them, make sure that you say you've got to see this. These two are on point. They're not giving you a bunch of rubbish. They're not giving you fluff because we're not about fluff.
No.
Believe me, we're probably the furthest thing from fluff. Maybe a rainbow unicorn, but every once in a while might fly through. But as I say, and if we see ourselves as broken vessels, it's challenging to bring true beauty to our clients. We have to repair our broken vessels, not with glue, but with gold. And that's the perfect thing because
Love
sometimes you have to be broken beyond belief to get your real self together.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what it is. It's gold. When you're authentic, you have nothing to worry about. You don't care what people say. You don't care about, you know what I mean? But then what if you walked into work and you had a ton of energy? You didn't need caffeine anymore. You didn't need cigarettes anymore. You loved every client that you did. You couldn't wait to get to work in the morning. You were the last one to leave because you loved your place of work. You stay
Yeah.
to sweep and mop and do the laundry and whatever just because you love it there and you breathe that and you eat that and you're eating healthy and you're juicing and you're walking and you're journaling and you're what kind of life would that mean for you?
Yeah.
I
You know,
know
and
for
like,
me, it's it's
wow.
it's incredible. It's
Mm.
incredible because to me, when I'm in passion, I vibrate at a high level and I'm buzzing. I because my voice talks quicker because I'm so excited. And people say that, how come you're so excited? It's because I'm so excited about that client and I think about my clients. What would look great from them? What would look great on them? Not just what I want to do, but I'm also helping them through their transitions. Maybe they were in a Mohawk stage, but now they're like, hey, I'm married, I'm settling down, and I still want something hip, but I need to transition. Well, we have the power in our industry to do that because there's the letters PhD. We're all PhDs. So it stands for professional hairdresser, PhD. But what about
I love that.
profound hair, you know what I mean? You know, destiny, whatever it might be. But that's if you remember that, you're not just a hair cutter, you're not
No.
just a hairdresser, you're not just a beauty industry professional, you're not just a colorist, you're not just. We're not this industry that's been left to the end for people that had no skills. Oh, you might as well be a hairdresser.
No, this
Look how
inquires
much skills we
hairdressing.
have to have.
Hairdressing actually requires all of your skills.
Yep.
Hairdressing requires all skills. You need mental skills, spiritual skills, emotional skills, intellectual skills. You need all skills to do this and be a PhD, which is why I wrote Evolve, is because we get to
Mhm.
a cert 3 or 4 in hairdressing and we learn all the hairdressing, but we don't have the evolvement of
Mhm.
understanding the PhD of what
Yep.
we do,
And
which is
yep.
why we have evolved now. But I'm excited about what we're doing here because we're really
Mhm.
finally, there's a platform where we can have these very real
Mhm.
conversations about the human experience that goes on with hairdressers, about what it
Yep.
is that we're doing every day and why we're doing it, why we're choosing this. And hopefully, for the younger listeners that are jumping on this, I'm
Mhm.
hoping that they are, is that you listen to this now and you will transform the longevity of your
Mhm.
career. Because if I had this information when I started hairdressing, I would have actually approached my work in a very, very different way. In
Mhm.
a very different way.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have had 3 years of shoulder issues and I wouldn't have had back
Yep.
problems. I wouldn't have had all of that stuff go on with me. I would
Mhm.
have cared for myself to begin with. And that would have actually made my career enjoyable and also put me in a place where I can actually really hold myself in integrity and priority as much as I prioritized
Mhm.
my clients. This
Yeah.
is so important. Like what, Brad? This is
It's the same.
exciting.
And I so wish I had evolved. When I started doing this, I wish I had evolved, because for me, um, my brain is very advanced. My skill was very advanced in school. I actually graduated in 7.5 months instead of 10 months. So I did my, so ours, so where we are in Canada, our school is 3,500 hours. So it's 1,500 in school and then another 2,000 outside of school before you get licensed. But so what we're saying on here, I'm excited to learn more about Mariana and her programs. Oh, so am
I'm
I. We're
excited.
going
Yeah.
deep, going to go sub, and obviously we're going to mention it on everyone, because this is why I wanted this series, because this is something we need, as I say, industry disruptors, but somebody that thinks totally different, but not just a numbers person. Not, and yes, that has value, but what if you were, like I said, what if you're totally your authentic self? You didn't know, you no longer had body pain. You no longer had, I'll say, mental issues, but you no longer have thoughts, imposter syndrome thoughts, who I am as a stylist, who I am as a person. Or do I wear many hats? At home, I'm a parent, or I'm somebody's spouse, or I'm somebody's, you know, whatever you are, because everybody has many different roles. But what if you could just be the same person and none of those worlds would collide? If everybody met, because a lot of them like, I'm this at work, but at home I'm like, you know, why not be that same person through the whole thing? So,
Can I add there, right there? Um, I want to actually say, like, you and I right now are
mhm,
showing up as examples of actually living a
yeah,
really fulfilled. This is an example, guys. We are a complete example of living a fulfilled, authentic
mhm,
career and life. And what I'm doing right now is not going to be any different. I'm just sharing my work with Brad and we're having a
yep,
conversation, but it's no different to how I treat myself every single
mhm,
day and how I prioritize myself every single day and how that actually shows up in my bank account,
yep,
how that shows up. Because a lot of people going, well, how can I do all of these things? And I know the questions because I've
mhm,
done the FOQs, I've done all of that. I understand, like, but how can I actually prioritize myself and still make money? Because you charge more for your time. End
mhm,
of story. We'll get into that as we go on with the
yeah,
series. But the more time it takes you to show up in complete presence and authenticity, the more your value will increase. And that's all I want to add to that. The more your value will increase because your worth is coming from
mhm,
inside of you. It's not about I'm just
mhm,
doing a haircut and a color. Your worth is going to start being showing up in how it is inside of you. And
mhm.
that will increase incrementally as you go on. And I'm talking by the hour here, guys. I'm not talking, by the
Are we
I'm not
going by the hour here? All
I'm
this
not talking.
information, all these nuggets of gold, all these,
Yeah,
but that's
these
what,
little nuggets of
yeah.
gold. Like we're just like we're so excited, we're just giving it away,
Yeah,
Brad.
but the thing is, obviously there's so much more, but
Oh my god.
so it's funny how if you put yourself out there and you show up, both of us showed up. We could have said, I'm not feeling well tonight. Maybe I'll let the one person do it, but we both, and as I say, we both committed to 12 of these.
Yes. Oh, I'm
Are we
excited
crazy?
about
Are we excited? Are we crazy?
oh my
But
god.
the thing
This
is,
is gonna be great.
everybody who's on here and who's been commenting and who's been, liking, sharing that, you're showing up. Get up, dress up, show up, right? Forget all this, I don't feel like it, because I don't feel like it aren't the people that are going to, you know what I
No,
mean? They're not going to
this is
excel.
for
They're not
everybody.
going to evolve. They're not going to, you know what I mean? Sort of thing. So I wish I had 3,500 hours required. So the same, I'm in Canada. My lovely host is in Australia.
Yep.
So we're even 15 hours apart and we're still here. Because most times when we message, it's like, oh yeah, shoot, they're in bed. Their sleep.
Yeah.
Unless
I'm
we
excited.
just don't we don't sleep. But the same, right, Donna? Authenticity also builds your own sense of integrity. And
You know what?
integrity is one thing I think in the industry, I'll say it, we've lost it. We've lost
Totally.
integrity. We've lost authenticity. Like I'm sorry if you have 10 million followers and 2 likes. I'm sure those aren't real followers. So I'm just
I
going to say that. You know what I mean? Let's be real. I'd rather have 5 followers, but know all 5 people. And
yeah.
anybody that, like, my numbers aren't 10 million, but every single person I have on mine, I know them. I know who they are. So which I think is much better, because then I'm connecting with them, creating a relationship with them, using my body and my voice to reach out to them and connect. Like Mariana, we connect. So if we had, she said, oh, I'm not into this. Maybe I'll do my own thing. Who's this guy? Maybe he's a crazy loon. Like, you don't know, right? But you don't know unless you're willing to take yourself and put yourself out there. But also do that for your clients. Take a risk. Take some classes. Up your game, and
Evolve.
they'll see your value, of course, because that's what you're doing. You're evolving yourself, but you're also evolving them in their transition and your transition, and you're kind of growing together. Why do some of us that have been doing hair for decades still have the same clients, but some other ones, the clients left within their first year and they don't, have any of those people? But these are really topics that we're going to, you know, on this series that we're going to talk about. We're not going to sugarcoat anything.
Nope.
I don't like fluff.
Nope.
But we want to give you real answers, and we want you engaged, that you get what you need from this.
Mm.
And like I've said before, it's like a buffet. If there's a full buffet there, everything looks great. Take what kind of food you need. You don't have to take everything,
No.
and
Absolutely.
but you can take the parts that you need. But obviously
Yeah.
too, if people need to hear this, because it's going to be something different than you've ever heard before. And this is why, as I say, we created it for, people like ourselves that are passionate, that are living it, that aren't, our bodies aren't fried. You know what I mean? That we're not hunched over. We're really in the moment. And right now I'm in the moment. So part of my job being in the moment is relating to the comments that come in, relating to Mariana that's here, and listening to everything she says. Listen to hear, not listen to respond. So that's one thing you do with part of your body. And it's not always just your ears. It's also your eyes. It's also your heart. It's also your so it's all these remembering of all these parts and putting them all together.
We'll break it
Yeah.
down. I just want to share as well. Like, it gets overwhelming of how to actually break it down, which is what I've done with Evolve. I've actually broken down the steps finitely in terms of, like the first step is actually becoming aware of the body, becoming aware. The second
Mhm.
step is actually becoming aware of the senses, and how your senses communicate to you. The third step is actually becoming aware of your emotions. Like and it keeps going on and on.
Mhm.
There's 12 of them, obviously, but we just slowly, slowly bringing awareness slowly to all the parts of our body, to all the aspects of how we show up and what we do and what we don't do, understanding our habits, understanding our posture and what the posture. And when you get into when we talk about communication, you'll actually understand body language. I'll talk about body language and how to read it.
Mhm.
Really important aspects, tools and skills that we don't have as hairdressers, and they're so important to have, because if you've got a client sitting in your chair and you can't actually read their body language properly to
Mhm.
alleviate the pressure on you, boom, your head's going a million miles going, is she happy with that? Or is she unhappy with that? Oh my
Mhm.
God, I actually met her. Have I not? What's going on? She's not talking to me. This is what happens.
Yeah.
And this is burnout. But like, I just slowly, to bring it all back, it's like, we're going to talk about one aspect at a time so that there's no overwhelm, and we're not overfilling your body with
Mhm.
information that you just go, oh my God, they spoke about so much and I can't remember it.
Yeah.
It's just like, today I just want to bring to your awareness is like, check out your physical body, guys. Check it out. Look in the mirror. I mean, get naked and check it out. whatever. Just stand in front of the mirror and
Mhm.
just do that this week a few minutes, if you can, a day. I always suggest do one in the morning and do one before you go to bed at night. Have a check
Mhm.
in. What's changed? What's different? What's shifted? Are you happier? What wisdom have you gained through that day? And every day is an adventure. The energy that you and I have, Brad, is
Mm.
because every day is an adventure for us.
It
It's like,
is.
what's going to go on today? What's going
'Cause
to
I
happen?
never know what's gonna happen, but you're totally right. When you're in front of the mirror, literally, and not to be funny, leave yourself naked
Yep.
emotionally and physically, but
Yep.
learn to love that naked body the way it is. You made it that way. So, embrace what you made. If you got a few rolls, if you got something, embrace that. Because when you're loving yourself, I think that exudes through you. So if you love yourself, you can help clients love themselves too. Because
Mm,
we're about image. So if we don't love our own image, how
that's
is
right.
your clients going to love the image that you're creating,
That's
power of
right.
creation for
I
them? You know what I
love it.
mean? So
What a
so so
statement.
that sort of thing. This has been amazing. I think we're gonna wrap just
Yep.
because we always want to leave them wanting more, right? So
Oh, yeah.
if you want more, come back, same bat channel, same bat time. But
Yeah.
but
We're gonna share. Next week, I think I'm gonna bring to the table the sensory body, because it's actually the first communication body
mhm.
of the energetic system that
Wow.
communicates to you. So we're going to be looking at that. And that's like module 2 in
Yeah.
Evolve is a sensory body. So we sort of like look at the physical body first, and the module 2 is the sensory body. And it's impactful. It's poetry. It's
Mhm.
poetic. The
Yes.
sensory body is
Ooh,
poetic.
I love all those
So we're going to have
popping.
a little bit of poetry next session of
Popping
taking
keywords.
you on a journey of the senses and how the senses communicate to you.
Ooh. Oh, it's gonna be exciting. So I want to thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions on today's episode, or would like to be a guest, or you have a great idea for a show idea, you can email Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast at outlook.com. Join us next time for part 2, but watch here. Because there was a question, wanted to know more and where you can find us. Make sure that you follow Facebook, Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast, and Head Ed, right? So, and that's Mariana's page. She has incredible posts. Let me tell you, the posts that are on there. Go. You think mine are good? Hers are beyond. So go check that out. Also, go follow us on IG. So I'm at Brad Celebrity Hairstylist, Mariana's head.ed.evolve, and then Beauty Industry Cruises, which is today's episode is brought to you by Beauty Industry Cruises, where we get a pile of people together. So it's powerful education in beautiful destinations. Stay tuned for the events, and that's www.beautyindustrycruises.com. But if people wanted to check out your website, if they wanted to go to Evolve and check out your website, where would they go, Mariana?
They would go to www.headed.com.au, and there is the 2023 prospectus is up at the moment. And
Mhm.
if you're interested in the Evolve program, please register your interest and actually book
Mhm.
a discovery call with me, and we can have a private chat. So I saw that somebody was saying, I think it was Donna, saying, I'd
Yes.
like to know more about what you're doing. Yeah,
Mhm.
so like just jump on my website and there's a direct link to me, and I will receive that in my calendar. And I'd love to have a chat with you about it. I'm here to help, here to support, and here to help you evolve.
Yeah, and if you still don't know us, stick around for the next 12 episodes, 11 episodes now, the
11.
rest of this one,
Ah,
and 11 more, and get to know us. Get to know us as real, authentic people who checked
yes.
ourselves in the mirror. I'm not going to tell you naked or not, but checked in, so but showed up. And I want to say thank you, everyone, and we'll see everybody next time. Okay, bye.
Bye. See you later.